Welcome back, everybody, to Huobi X-Change. My name is Darko, your host for this evening, and tonight we are joined by an amazing guest, Vitaliy Tyan. I hope I said that correctly. Tyan?
Yeah, you got
Is that
it,
right?
bro. Yeah.
He's entrepreneur and investor. Welcome to the show. How are you feeling tonight, my brother?
Hey, feels great to be with you, man. I love your energy. I love all that you do. It's awesome.
And likewise. And now tonight, I have some juicy questions for you. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you, could you please tell us for the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you got involved in crypto and why? And for everybody watching, please smash that like button, smash up that live chat box, and let us know which country you are watching from. Vitaliy, the stage is yours.
Yeah. So my background, right? So I'm originally from Kazakhstan. I was born there. I immigrated to the United States at 15. Went to high school here. Went to college. I got into crypto like more seriously. Like started investing in it around 2017,
Yep.
and from in the beginning like a little bit more casually, and obviously going through market cycles and things like that, like all of us did, and also, I started running my own businesses, not Web3 businesses, but building e-commerce companies.
Yep.
And just through being in various discussion groups and through friends who are into that industry, I was always keeping my eye on possibly entering into the space and helping with, marketing, building the projects, building the teams, and found an opportunity where I was the right fit, which ended up being like a great and incredible ride, and it still continues to be.
Yep.
So yeah.
And what was your first crypto purchase?
My first crypto purchase, I bought I think it was like three of each. Like maybe I put in a few grand into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and then I just kind of forgot about it through Coinbase. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The Litecoin's been around for quite a while. So now the most recent project you are known for became and still is the top 3 metaverse project in the world. So which also earned over $140 million worth in NFT sales alone in the first 7 months since its inception. While many projects rose very high during the last bull run, very few were able to skyrocket like this. What main factors or secrets make a project reach incredible heights? What does it really take?
Yeah. I'm going to share with you all of the secrets that you can apply, start your own project, take it to $1 billion market cap.
Please do. Please do.
There's a special formula that I sell, for $19.99. I'm starting the course today. No,
Yep.
I'm just kidding. But it was an incredible experience joining the team like very early on. Essentially me, like a few more people, and then the development team. So I was like very intimately involved in building the project, and I still like a super believer and a holder, and still in touch with all of the original team. This project, there were so many different factors that really helped us, rise above others. Like during the bull cycle, right, we saw a lot of projects really multiplying their market cap, but
Yep.
ours, which is like USM Metaverse, it really like skyrocketed like incredibly, right? We broke into top 82, top 85 on CoinGecko by market cap,
Wow.
or $1 billion market cap, and it actually started as a fair launch project. So we did not have any VCs, we did not have any major backers. It was originally sort of more marketing wise. It was approached as more of a meme project, but leadership had like a strong plan in place to actually grow it. And because there was a development team and leadership, there was like a roadmap laid out that we were realizing. So it's actually pretty incredible. It's like Shiba essentially, but with a real focus on development.
Okay.
And how did we sort of caught fire and build it? We brought on partners, partnered with key people. The reason why it was important for us, and if people research the project, they'll know who it is. Um, it was important to us to obviously marketing wise and to give people confidence, right? Give investors confidence. Like if they have these people supporting the project, then most likely it's has a serious team behind it, which was all true, of course. So, and then the other part, it was like simple formula, right? Outwork, outmarket, outbuild. So, outwork all of the core team, pretty much lived and breathed the project 24/7.
Oh wow.
80-hour work weeks, literally no time to. I mean, you literally have enough time to sleep, maybe 1 hour to watch some TV show, but then all of the other time you're thinking about work. You're constantly on Telegram. You're constantly, either writing articles, thinking about the community, interacting with them, preparing for releases, NFT releases, or software updates, product updates. And I mean, 80 hours is a lot, right? 80 hours is a lot. It really takes it out of you. But everybody was putting it in willingly, and everybody just believes in the community, and the community keeps you really motivated. You feel responsible because they're your stakeholders.
Yep.
And you just can't take it for granted. So you almost kind of, I mean, there was no choice but not to work that much. Looking back, maybe there would have been a better way to structure it more sustainably. But I mean, that's just the culture. Essentially, you have to outwork people, especially when you're catching fire, like we did. You never want to like relax. You want to keep adding more air.
But surely it would have taken its toll as well on we're all human, right? So surely it would have taken its toll as well, physically and mentally. So how did that direction go? How did you overcome that challenge, so to speak?
So that's something that you work with the leadership as part of the leadership team, and you make sure you protect yourself, right? If nobody's protecting you have to sort of state to the team, hey, I'm really getting burned out. I need to take a break. I'm going crazy. I'm working same man here. And hopefully they will understand and provide you certain accommodation. I know, like in the creative process, writers, right? I know some writers, they force themselves to write Monday through Friday, right? Very hard and research. But then they make sure that like Saturday and Sunday, they still want to work, but they actually stop themselves. And the reason why is to let your brain reset, right? And actually come up with something more creative. So yeah, stress, emotional toll, lack of sleep, that could all be a problem, which I'll probably share a little bit more later. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind for sure. And another thing that obviously you have to do besides outworking people is out marketing them.
Yep.
And that goes into writing Medium articles, being engaged on Twitter, being engaged on Discord, doing airdrops, doing all of that. And the way that we did it, like from my experience, it's not necessarily like the quality of your graphics, right? You really win by connecting with the community, and that's ultimately what it is, right? These are just tools to build a relationship with the community, and if they understand your vision, then they may overlook some of the imperfections, for example, because in the beginning we're building a team, right? The project is growing like crazy. Not everything goes 100% smoothly, but for us it wasn't like a bad factor. It was just like a natural progression.
Mm.
But the best thing is not to overthink it too much. Like outmarket everyone as much as you can, and out communicate with people.
Mm.
And then the third is outbuild. That's where you got to have a development team that you must attract and keep and retain and prioritize, because ultimately it's about showing people that you are building things, right? You're building an NFT marketplace,
Mm.
you're building a metaverse or a game, be it GameFi, SocialFi, whatever it is. Because that's ultimately how you can demonstrate to people like, hey, we are building and investing heavily into the future. We are investing a lot of our income and just revenue, a lot of the burn rate, majority of the burn rate goes into the development, and people see that over time, and especially during like the bear cycle, right? That we're in right now. You can kind of follow the projects, and you can see how actively engaged they are still with their community, and how actively they push out like real innovation and products, and that kind of shows you how the project was managed during the bull cycle, how the treasury was managed, and that the project has a big enough war chest to actually keep developing, because the projects
Mm.
developing right now, they are going to rise even higher when the market recovers more and starts going up again. So
Yep.
that's a good indicator, right, to pay attention. How is a project unfolding when the overall market is coming down? Yeah.
So with the out market aspect, when the industry was looking bearish at times, did you ever say, all right, now is not the right time to market? Or did you keep the marketing flow going constantly? Because I know a lot of projects don't like to market in certain market conditions. But how did you tackle that?
Well, fortunately, a lot of the marketing, all of the marketing that we've done was quite organic,
Mm.
and so we did not, have a huge marketing burn rate. It was more about like using outworking people, right? So
Yep.
you stay in touch with the community, you listen to them, and you make sure that your marketing messages address any concerns. And if you are developing things, and that's the greatest marketing in itself, because you
Yep.
always have something to update the community with.
Mm.
And the beauty of Web3 is that people are very open to testing, beta testing or even alpha testing your releases, and they expect to see those. And when they see those, they're quite happy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they don't see them, they start the complaints.
Can't go silent. Yeah, you always have to take care of people who invested in you and believe in you.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I mean, those are people with like families, or people in who are struggling. So at the very
Yep.
least, you have to protect them as much as you can.
Which leads us on to the next question. So, what does it really take to build a truly loyal community? Because that's a challenge itself, and a real organic community globally.
Yeah, it's for me, it's a part strategy, part a little bit of luck and timing. Of course, you have to time um, time your strategy accordingly. For example, I got into metaverse, right? The metaverse project, USM.
Hmm.
We actually got into it. We weren't the first ones to get into it, but we came into it a little bit later, but way before Facebook, right? Months before Facebook announced. So coming in a little bit later to the party, it's actually good because you get to learn from the mistakes of other projects, and you can sort of take your time in the strategy and planning.
True.
Um, if you are entering an industry that is now um, going hot, right, like the metaverse, then obviously the tide is on your side. So you want to enter it before like Facebook enters it, right? You want to start building your name and be in the news cycle. And like being in the right industry, that is already an advantage, right? You always want to go into the industry, into the projects, into the niches that are hot, because that's where the market is. and build the product from there. And once you establish yourself, then you can start building and pivoting if you need to. But as far as like the community too, besides that, right, haven't been in the right industry, that's where the people are going to be, that's where the hype is going to be. You have to be very creative, right? There's no formula. How do you take a project viral? Because and it's not even necessarily even about how much money you invest, because you could have all the money in the world and still fail.
Yes.
You have to find your own angle. What is my audience? Who do I need to associate with to make sure people are excited about? And just take a leap of faith that it will work for you. So, like this part, I don't really think there's anybody who has like a crystal ball. You can go and sign a top Hollywood actor, top star Hollywood actor, and associate it with your project, and it's not guaranteed to necessarily give you like a marketing edge.
Yeah.
So to me, it's more about really listening to your community, even when you're making decisions on who to bring on board. You can talk with your administrators, right? Because if you have an interesting project, people are going to join your Discord, people are going to join your Telegram. And when they do, that's when they have the highest level of enthusiasm, right? So they joined, they're open to learning more. So that's where you, leadership, and like core community admins, that's where you need to work with them closest, right? And show them who you are, what your vision is, and actually get their opinion, because the initial crowd that's going to come into your project the earliest, right? Let's say your Telegram, your first initial, 5,000 or 10,000 Telegram users, a lot of them, they are interested in helping build the community, right? They're holders of your project. So you pick the people that are passionate and you involve them into the decision making. And you just can't make decisions in the vacuum. You can't just say, hey, I'm gonna sign this person, and just because they're a big star, it's gonna make a difference. And like right now, it's fairly easy to raise money in certain niches in crypto, which is great. And when you get the budget, when you have the budget, marketing budget, and you want to sign like a celebrity or influencer, call anything, athlete, you have to actually like select the ones that are committed to your vision, right? Because it's so
long
easy.
term,
long term, and are willing to engage and learn, and are passionate about NFTs and Web3, and so you want to make sure that things are aligned. So this doesn't guarantee anything, right? I mean, but it increases the likelihood that it's more likely to resonate and benefit the project in the long term. So
yeah, but it also gives people the right to sell the news as well as soon as they hear about it. So it's a catch-22 sometimes, especially if that celebrity is not in it for the long term, that just a short-term thing, then that would not be worth it. At all.
Yeah. You want to get like this golden middle, right? Somebody who is like all in on Web3, but also like has a name, can bring actual users, their following into Web3. So there needs to be an alignment. Maybe it's the way that I think about it, maybe it's even better to attract, if the project is DeFi, bring someone from the financial world, a personality from the financial world that may not have even millions of followers. Maybe they just have like 200,000 followers or 50, or 30. But then their community is actually very engaged into the personality.
And passionate.
When that person says, hey, there is this great DeFi project, or there is this great game that you can get into Web3, you can earn, you can build the community, the ROI is going to be a lot higher. And it will also make more sense strategically. So,
and the beautiful thing with the crypto community is, even if you have a quiet week and you've got no news to announce, but you know that everybody's waiting for news.
Yeah.
In crypto, we can just make an announcement of an announcement, and then everybody's happy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You just give community something to be proud about. If they're part of your community, they're interested in it. So make it easy for them to root for you and for your project. And also sometimes, you may make a move that may not necessarily be strategically sound, but that's where also luck could, fortunes can, be on your side, and maybe the move that wasn't on the surface level brilliant just strikes. So you just manage your budget, you manage your burn rate, and you make the best strategic choices given the information you have. And the rest is essentially you let it play out and then you adapt from there.
So basically what you're saying is it all comes down to communication
Mm-hmm.
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Communication among the leadership, community leaders, and community leaders have to be having their pulse on their actual community, right? If you have a community in Africa, you have community in Eastern Europe, North America. As a leadership team, it may be very difficult to actually stay in all of the chats because you have to actually direct the development team and develop. But that's what you have. That's why it's important to have great community admins, because they will bring you the news. They will help you filter through information. Yeah.
Definitely. There was one project which I won't name. I interviewed a few months ago, and I had a look at the Telegram community out of curiosity, and I noticed that they would change their pinned message between 20 and 30 times per day. And I was like, that's too much, man. That is way too much. And some of the announcements were actually quite important. And the most important announcements would last like 15 minutes. And then something else less important would get pinned.
Yeah. It's really strange. I see that like across many businesses. A few startups that I'm advising, like they have a great product, they have a great team that works really hard. They actually are developing something amazing, but they're still making it very difficult for their followers to truly understand what is great and what is important about them. And they just can't get that message in right. Or they just put so many, like you said, 15, 20 pinned messages. So if you go there, you're just getting spammed with messages that may not make sense. So that's so important. I agree with you 100%. That seems to be like, as simple as it sounds, that's a very common problem for many, many projects.
Which leads us to the next question. Many people have a good project idea, but realize they need a strong team. How does one build and keep a winning team?
Yeah. The way that I look at building a team is not necessarily a quantity of people, but there are certain roles that need to be taken care of, right? That need to be present within the team. If you have, you could have, 3 people and they could fulfill all of the roles pretty effectively. Or maybe you need 5 people. So it depends. But the main roles that I think about is you definitely need to have a leader. Either a core leadership team that is on the same page or a single leader. And a leader makes sure that everybody is on the same page and that everybody understands what the vision is. And, people say vision, vision, vision. It's almost like this hype word that people use, but that's how the project gets started. That's how the real project gets started. You have a vision for it. You rally and attract core team around that vision, and you make sure that that vision keeps getting more refined and that everybody that you bring on board understands what the vision is on a high level. If you don't have the vision, you can't actively reach out to people and hire them. You can't even attract people who are willing to work for you. But if you just can't articulate to them what the vision is, they won't know what they're signing up for. And in general, having a vision lets you to win over people, right? Be it in business development, be it in signing endorsements, signing celebrities or athletes. And like vision is like it's almost, I look at it as an elevator pitch.
Mm.
And like when we talked about, have 15, 20 pin messages, right? What's the actual vision of the company? So the leadership needs to make sure that everything flows into communicating the vision, right? How is this development? How is this development update actually aligned with our vision? And you can't assume that people will draw that conclusion, draw that link naturally. You sometimes have to spell it out, make it easy for people to understand that
Yeah.
you are building something great. And let's. I have some notes here, of course.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
And
as a leader, you have to ask questions from all of the team members because, how do I say it? Like humility is a good part of leadership. Actually, I really believe in that. Because even if you believe you have the right answer, you have to talk with the core team and you have to get their opinion so that they feel heard.
yeah,
Uh, Ultimately, as a leader, you make the call. You make the final call, because somebody needs to take the responsibility. But it's important to keep an open environment. So leadership extremely important. Another one, right? We all probably have friends who have great ideas, great vision, but
yep,
but but then they get bored and the vision doesn't get done. That's where you got to have a person on the team who essentially lives on like their high is getting things done and driving the project to completion.
Are you talking about the tomorrow people, where it's always tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So, and it's great because you got to have tomorrow people because they have the vision, they may have ideas, but you got to have people who actually like, hey, let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's make sure people are getting things done and moving things along.
Yep.
Um, you don't want things to be stuck in progress all the time, and you don't want to be like a super perfectionist. You don't want to get things actually done, get feedback, and improve. So that's important as well. And in Web3, right, I really believe there needs to be more attention on like getting people with higher emotional intelligence and empathy,
Yep.
then be actively a part of the core team, because you have to take care of people, right, as human beings. It's like it's so easy to get excited, it's so easy to overwork, and it's so easy to just drive you people and ride them really hard, right? Get this done, get this done, get this done. But you have to have people who are mindful that, hey, your team members are not machines, they're actually human beings. And you have to really take care of their, like, just give them space and also give them positive feedback, right? I
Yep.
think that's the key, because you have brilliant people technically, right? Analytically in crypto. And I think now there is a recognition like, hey, let's run like an actual, let's learn from the traditional businesses. They have an HR team for a reason, right? They invest HR in HR for a reason. And like even simple management education, leaders need to get, right? People need to know how to communicate with each other. You have to educate them. If somebody does great work, you need to acknowledge them. Nobody's ever going to get tired of like, hey, today my boss told me I did something great again. I'm getting tired of it. No, people love that.
Yeah.
And if people make mistakes, you don't make it personal. You actually say, hey, I believe this is the right way to do things. Can you tell me why I did it this way? Where was there a misunderstanding? And eventually, like, you decide with the leadership team, are the mistakes happening in the organization because of the system, the process, which means it's impersonal. You need to reevaluate the process, the delegation of work, and maybe change it. Or maybe as a leader, you're not making people very excited about working, so maybe they lose their motivation. Or maybe simply the person is not the right fit for the organization or the role.
So
So,
that's from a company standpoint in terms of business structure.
yeah.
But for somebody interested in starting a career in Web3, what would make them the standout person that a company such as your company, for example, would
Yeah.
be looking for?
Yeah. Gosh, I know so many projects that the members of their core team just started out as Telegram or Discord members, right? They show like incredible enthusiasm.
Yep.
They're just willing to help in everything, and even with minimal experience, they will can break through and get a role on a core team and actually participate in the meetings, right? Strategy meetings
Wow.
like that.
Wow.
But I think people are always looking for developers, right? So if you have a clear skill that you can demonstrate, like being a developer, that's obviously makes it a little bit easier for you.
Yeah.
If you're a great designer, you can go ahead and start designing graphic posters, infographics, digital assets for the project, and just show them your work, show them your enthusiasm, and if it, your work will speak for itself. And if you show that your craft is better than others, they will be, kind of silly to not give you a chance to be their graphic designer, help the marketing team.
I hope everybody's taking notes. Everybody who's watching, keep talking, keep going.
Yeah.
I should be taking notes too.
Well, you do all of it naturally, brother.
You know?
You get it, you probably went through all of that yourself, and you can relate to a lot of the things.
Yeah.
I think right now, because the space is so big, there's so many niches. You can't take responsibility for what niche you're gonna dive in. So, and there are more niches in Web3 that are being created, pretty regularly. So if you have a niche, if you know it's Web3, you like blockchain, you're an investor, like I want to work in this field. You don't have no idea what niche or category to start with. On a practical level, you can just go to CoinMarketCap. You can go to CoinGecko. You can go and look at the different categories. See which one sort of grabs you, right? Maybe if you're a gamer, GameFi, right? If you want to do finances, go into DeFi.
Yeah.
And go into that category, literally look at all of the projects, see how they market themselves, read their white paper, their pitch deck.
Finally, somebody said it. Finally, somebody said it other than me. I'm always saying it, but no, I never hear anyone say it. The white paper. Read the white paper.
Yeah.
People just ignore the white paper. I bought the coin because I like their logo.
And like the white paper can get technical, right? And if you can't understand it, work to understand it.
Yes.
Right? Or ask someone to help you explain it. Because it can be quite intimidating for a person. Like let's say they just bought Bitcoin, Ethereum on Huobi, and they just love it. They love it, and now they're also financially committed to the Web3. It may be difficult to understand all the terms, but fortunately, right now, like through YouTube, through Google, you can actually learn all of that stuff. And if you are reading the white paper, you can't relate to it, and it bores you. Not because you don't understand it, but because it's just like maybe GameFi you're excited about, DeFi you not really that interested in. So then obviously you narrow down your category to gaming categories, within CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and then you narrow down more. Is it a metaverse? Is it play to earn? Is it something else? Is it maybe just an NFT marketplace? So then you just become you start gaining industry knowledge, right? Niche knowledge. And then you like I said, you hang out in their Discords, telegrams, you get the vibe for them. Maybe you ask from you just say, hey, I'm willing to be a volunteer, I'm willing to be a community admin, help you with things, but my vision is to grow more with you guys. And you put in the work in whichever way you can, because you are winning. The moment you are associated with the project and you put in the work, you're winning because you're getting experience.
Yes.
You're getting experience that you can now go and take to another company. You may discover, hey, my initial intuition and judgment about the original company is not correct. I'm actually more interested in working here. And maybe I need to now see if I can work for this company. And you can find a way. I mean, obviously, you can go through job listings, LinkedIn, go to company sites, but the doors are open in this industry, wide open for people who are willing and interested, 100%.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like you said, people will start volunteering and then get the attention of a brand. And along the way, they may or may not realize it, but they're actually networking and building new connections. And this leads the way to the possibility of more doors being open down the line in the future as well. So it's like, yeah, you might be starting off as a volunteer, but again, think of the long term and think of where you could take that, where you could possibly end up as well. So you raise some good points. And back just quickly to the white paper thing. The white paper is basically the backbone of the business or the company structure for the public to see anyway. And a good white paper shouldn't really confuse even newer people, because it should be explained in a way. I mean, yes, they can get technical, but they should also be explained. It's a public white paper, so it should be explained in a way that most people could understand. Most people. So, and then we have gift books, which is the longer version of the white papers for a lot of brands as well. So, yeah, the white paper is just super, super important. And I'm glad to hear you mentioned it, because I felt like I was the only person that had brought it up. It's just too many people don't read the white papers. They'll scan the website and look at the logo, and then that's it. But then again, if the white paper is a little bit too complex and sophisticated, this is the reason why, as you said, Telegram communities and Discord, these are the places where people can go after reading the white paper and ask the questions and pick the brains of the team. That's what these communities are there for as well. So it's a communication thing, these socials. They're there, yes, for part of it is marketing, but the other part is communication, which, as we mentioned earlier, you mentioned towards the start of this stream, super important. Communication is super important. So no, I'm really glad to hear you say that. So next up, on that note, what is the work culture of Web3 companies, and what are some of the positives and negatives that you could maybe share with us?
Yeah. So the work culture, right? Probably just like any other organization, there are various types, right, of work cultures. And the way that I make sense for me is like there are companies that kind of operate, structure their work culture by matching others, right? They see how are other people, how are the Web3 companies working? Let's make sure we do the same, right? Some say, let's set the pace, right? So the first group may say, let's match the pace. Let's make sure we're doing what others are doing. Other ones may do set the pace, which means they're going to work harder, work longer than others. Obviously, weaker organizations, they're going to lag behind the pace, right? Maybe they lost motivation. Maybe they just, were never really committed to the project. So they just, take it easy and kind of chill, I'm like, set the pace is very easy choice, right? You just work harder, work longer. But again, if we're building a long-term company, to me, it's like a marathon. So I prefer like a mixed pace. I believe mixed pace is the best, which is, when to sprint, right? You know when to jog lightly, and you know when to recover. Yeah, so that's the one that I believe in. And I believe leadership needs to like realize how important it is to manage the pace, right? Because it doesn't require a lot of sophistication to just say, hey, everybody work day and night like crazy, be available 24/7 all the time,
Become a zombie.
It doesn't require a lot, right? It doesn't require a lot of creativity. Like, how can you actually do something that's sustainable and interesting? So like in Web3, right, in my experience, if you have a release coming up, right, be it an NFT release, and it's like a pretty big one, well, obviously you want to make sure everything is perfect. You want to plan the strategy. You want to make sure all the marketing materials are correct, that you are doing cross promotion, that your community is aware of when and where the sale is taking place. And those could be the days where you're actually like working a lot. But once you release it, you provide some support. You have to tell your team to take a break. And the reason why I have to tell them to do that explicitly, because you don't want to underestimate how committed and how workaholic people can be, especially in Web3. I think it's like one of the easiest fields to come in and become workaholic, but not Why it's easy? Because the enthusiasm is very high. So
Mm.
people can become a workaholic via enthusiasm. But the people who worked a lot, they realize that, you know, with workaholism comes burnout. So
Yes.
leaders need to tell their team members actually explicitly, hey, we work hard. Why don't you guys, take a day or two or whatever, just like nobody's going to distract you. I'm going to make sure nobody's going to reach out to you. All the questions are going to go to me. They do that in traditional companies. I think that's what they got right. When somebody goes on vacation, they typically
Yeah.
have someone to take over.
But then there's other companies who don't think like that as well. And they're like, time is money. We can't
Yeah.
give them
Yeah.
time to rest. Like, that's another problem amongst all industries, not just crypto. So would
Yeah.
that be one of the downfalls in Web3 as well, do you think? Or
Yeah, I believe it's very easy to attract people, but if you attract people and they're great at what they do, and you attract smart people, entrepreneurial people, hardworking people with their unique set of skill sets, um, there's always a choice, right? There's a lot of companies in Web3 that need great people on their team. So I think retaining people is very important. So, like, yeah, you can squeeze out, the orange juice till it's dry, I don't think it's the wisest strategy. And I think that is one of the potential, I could see that as a detriment to Web3. But at the same time, how do I say, I can't blame anyone for that, because it's still such a new and vibrant industry. People are figuring things out through trial and error. So I
yeah,
believe eventually they will actually start, maybe, I don't know when, but part of the, team tokenomics, they will have an HR person, right? Uh, I believe that that's going to be in the future, because they need to take care of the people. Um, and then again, when it comes to the work culture, the people that join the company later, they don't really usually feel comfortable going to leadership and telling them, hey, you're completely wrong. Or like, they may not know how to approach leadership to tell them what's wrong with the organization.
Yeah.
That's why it's really important for leadership to set the tone and for them to be open-minded about, hey, maybe we need to modify the pace for this week. Or yeah. And another thing as well, it's very easy to just run around and be reactive to the market and to the community. But there also needs to be a point where you do know your vision, you are focused on it, and you don't let like some news or some people who aren't happy to like cause you and your team stress. Because
Yeah.
ultimately you have the vision, you're confident in it, you already meet about it weekly or bi-weekly, you have the strategy, you make adjustments, you have to have confidence in that. Because if you're always like reacting, oh look at this, oh look at this, right, that's not the way to
It creates a
be.
toxic environment, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've seen that as well through different businesses, and they're usually the companies that have higher turnover of staff. Those ones.
Yeah, yeah,
And going back to what you mentioned earlier about retaining your team members, your staff, if you can achieve that for long enough, then eventually it becomes not just a team, but more like a family, a
yeah.
working family. Yeah. So
I believe that's
yeah.
how it should be. I know plenty of projects where people are working for free,
Mm,
just purely off of their passion,
yeah.
right? So it is possible. It can be like a family.
That's true. So, how do we bring more of the general public into Web3? Like, how would you convince a skeptic that blockchain has real world utility?
Yeah. Um, Obviously, we can understand where there are some skeptics, right? When they see this crazy volatility, it scares people. When they go and they start thinking about blockchain, right? It's not as easy to understand as internet, right? Blockchain is harder to understand than internet. Then they start seeing NFTs, they start seeing all of the different protocols, why there are so many companies, why there are 20,000 tokens, right?
Yeah.
People are wondering, what the hell am I going to be investing in? Like, is it all a scam or not?
People still think Bitcoin's a scam.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's going to be impossible to convince some, but a lot of people are working, like including you, including me, to and like big exchanges, big people, right? Companies, they are adopting Bitcoin. They're making it more comfortable, right? If they're doing it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I think, like, what I see now, how do you win over people? You actually develop products and services that serve them, right? That have real world utility. That's why, like, I'm actually a big fan of NFTs, because they do have a real utility. I see many software companies that are now emerging where, to access these functionalities of our software, you need to have an NFT, right? So now you create a whole marketing around the access of your software. And education and just time, education and time, and products and services that people can use more easily. So yeah, it's gonna come, but it's gonna take time.
I agree. And I actually brought this up briefly last week in one of my other streams. And I said to the audience, sometimes I feel like it's us, the streamers, who failed the public, because if we did a better job at promoting crypto, the industry itself, then perhaps the worldwide adoption would have been bigger by now. But the thing is, there's a lot of people doing it that shouldn't be doing it as well, which is, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I guess you're right. It will happen eventually, like real world mass adoption, use cases, everything, and everybody's happy because there are products and services being developed and builded, how they pronounce it. So builded, biddle, that serve everybody's selfish needs, because we as human beings, we are all selfish. Whether we like to admit it or not, we do everything for ourselves. And the reason why we're in crypto as well is greed, because greed is the motivational factor as to why people want to make money, right? Nothing bad about that. It's just a human life thing. It's survival. That's it. So yeah, it will happen eventually, but I think it could have happened sooner if there was the right communication out there, like you mentioned, and people education as well, the proper crypto education. But slowly, there are some universities around the world that are starting to implement courses. Now, as to how good they are, I don't know. But at least we're starting to see some of that happening now as well. There's some crypto university courses that have started coming out. So, we shall see. But it will eventually happen. So, just lastly, what trends excite you, and are you looking forward to getting involved in any of them directly? And you did mention NFTs, but
yeah. Like, overall, just to kind of add a little bit to the previous point, like, I'm very optimistic, very about Web3, about blockchain development, because I just meet new teams, new companies, and they're full of young people, like young, smart people who are committed, who are all in and hardworking.
Yeah.
So when I see like where the young talent goes to and is excited about, like, there's just no way that this industry is not going to continue to boom and explode. It's just a question of when, not if. If I see like all of them, yeah, because we see all of the young people, including us, working and actually being in major decision makers in their organizations, and that's exciting, right? Because they are open-minded enough to recognize the opportunity.
Yes.
And if you are building a legitimate company that takes advantage of the blockchain technology, it's incredible, because now you can raise funds a lot easier, right? If you're just a regular standard company, it's a lot more difficult to raise money. If you have a blockchain component, then now you can reach out to VCs and funds and actually raise money. So now you have like the best of both worlds. You can be entrepreneurial, but now you have people who can actively help you and advise you how to build it, and actually give you money to build it. And as far as what trends, like what excites me the most is like just projects that become part of our daily life, right? So we all have an iPhone, we all have an Android, we download apps. So the convergence of apps and blockchain technologies, that's going to be the future, right? So
Yeah.
you're just going to be able to download an app and you can take advantage of it, even if you don't have any blockchain experience. And I think when people use an app and then they learn, oh, this runs blockchain, this is a great app, I get great utility out of it, then I think people will start opening their minds a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
it's good that you said that, because you made me remember an article I came across a couple of weeks ago, and there was a gaming console in production at the moment, and it's coming out, I think, late next year. You might have heard about it. I don't know. But this gaming console, like a PlayStation with controllers and everything, it's going to be hooked up to like at least 10 different blockchains, which is going to be pretty cool. But it's going to be specifically for crypto games as well.
Yeah, gaming is huge. That's a gaming aspect, right? We're all gamers. We're all gamers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I am. Yep. Yeah.
Well, I think people are. Everybody is a gamer. People who go to casino are a gamer. People who bet in games are a gamer. That's why. I mean, I think that's a way for the blockchain to really get more of mass adoption. Have the gaming component to things, right? Yeah.
Yeah. PlayStation or Xbox for you?
PC, man. PC.
PC. Oh, you're a hardcore gamer. Yeah.
StarCraft, Counter-Strike, you know.
StarCraft?
Yeah, it's an old game. But that's a game that gave rise to esports, actually. If you know about StarCraft, there are esports because of StarCraft.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's the founding father of all esports, StarCraft.
Oh, wow. That I didn't know.
Check that.
So that's your favorite game, is it?
It's too difficult. I still watch pro gamers play, though. Yeah.
Wow. I can't get used to the PC. I'm a PlayStation boy. Sony.
I want to learn. I just never got into it because, like, I'm a big gamer. I mean, I used to be a big gamer, and once I start playing it, it's hard for me to stop. So when the Xbox, PlayStation came out, I just never invested. So I never got myself into that ecosystem. For my personality, it's good that I stayed away from it.
Well, if you ever get a chance, if you ever have free time to spare, you're probably a very busy man, but if you ever have free time, check out a game called Hood. It's on PC. It's cross-platform. I can play against you via my PlayStation against your PC, or can play together. It is very addictive. So if you,
I love it. I got you on Telegram, so I'll ask you more about it.
Yeah, very addictive. The wife's not very happy with me at the moment. Too much time spent there. Vitaliy, before we give this stream a wrap, is there anything else you would like to tell the viewers before we give this a wrap? Any words of advice for them, especially for those interested in looking to joining the Web3 industry?
Yeah, I would just say stay creative, stay open. It's a great space. It does take a lot out of you, but if you approach it creatively and with wisdom, you can actually, be part of a great project and have like a fulfilling life in general. But that's still like up to you and up to your wisdom and how you manage your life. But this is a great space, global community. You work with some of the smartest people in various countries, right? The teams that I'm helping and working with, they're across multiple continents, and we're all together because we have the same thing that we enjoy, right? Making great products for people, building companies. So, the world is really your oyster. So, yeah.
Never give up on your dreams.
Exactly.
Keep on fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
Vitaliy, it was an absolute honor and a pleasure to meet me. I always say that. It's an absolute
it's an honor.
And hopefully we get to see you back here again at some time in the future too. Is there a Twitter page or anything that you want to tell the viewers so they can follow you on? Or?
Yeah, I believe my Twitter is One Vitaliy. So you guys can follow me there. Yep. And it's good to stay in touch with everyone.
Done. Awesome. And to everybody watching, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments, which you didn't have time to get through tonight. And until next time, please follow Huobi Global on Twitter, Telegram, Facebook, if you haven't already done so, YouTube as well. You can also follow me on my channel, Crypto Tonight on YouTube. Say hello. And until next time, please be safe, be healthy, trade wise, and as always, rock on.